Welcome to Lehigh River Subdivision. I'm Ian, and today we're going to be doing Making an N-Scale Road Part 2. If you haven't seen Part 1, I'm going to leave a link in the description. Part 1, we built the road sub-base out of plaster and drywall. So if you want to see that, go back and watch Part 1. If you already know how you're going to do your road base and you just want some tips on how to paint it and get it to look realistic, watch Part 2. And with that being said, in Part 2, we're going to put the base coat of paint down. I used acrylics, and then I made a water wash where I took water and added some color to it, mixed it up, and went back over the top of the road. So without me talking too much more, let's get into making an N-scale road, Part 2. Okay guys, to start Part 2, we got to get a base coat of acrylic. I had mentioned I was going to go back and watch Robert Flying Crow's video, and I did, and realized that it's been 6 months since I watched that, and he had used spray paint. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get the look that he created using acrylic paint. So we need a base coat, and I'm looking through my colors here, and I have this matte pewter gray. I think this will be a great base coat to start with, so I'm going to go ahead and put the pewter gray onto the road. All I'm going to do is just pour it a little bit out like that, and then I'll spread that around and then see if I need more. Okay guys, so in the first clip you seen me putting the pewter gray matte down for the base coat, but we actually did the base coat back there. So between clip 1 and clip 2 of this video, layout update 22 happened, where I built out this section and I built the road out all the way here to the end. And you can see I left the straight edge here, so when I put my fascia on, I can do whatever there with the road to finish it and uniform it. But moving on, I have the pewter gray base down, and you can see it's a good base color to work with. So to make the road look more realistic, I'm going to take a flat black, this, and put one little drop into here. Going to add water and just make a water wash and brush it across this part. As you can see in the back here, I tested a little bit and kind of was happy with the results. So I'm going to do the whole thing here, and hey, if I'm not happy with it, I'll just repaint over it with the pewter gray and start back from scratch. So we're going to do this whole process together. If I don't like the results, you'll see me fix it and try again. So let's see how this goes, and we're going to learn together. So I added the water in here already, so I'm just going to put a very small drop of this paint in there. And then we'll mix it up a little. And I think that's too much. So what I'm going to do is pour some water. Oh yeah, let's make a mess. So what I'm going to do, so that was more of a drop of paint than what we needed. So what I did now is dilute it and took out of that too much and put it into another thing of water. I'm going to clean the brush and get all the paint out of it. Let's see what that wash looks like there. We'll try these and see what happens. Okay, so that is a little weak. Let's see. you can see it added some different colors in there and discoloration to the road. So I'm going to go ahead and let that dry and see how it turns out, and then we'll come back and see if we have to do more, or see exactly what we need to do next. All right. So before I let it dry up, I think it looked a little too light yet. So I mixed up a little bit darker colors here, and I just kind of been going through and dabbing at this time. I'm kind of liking that a little better, so we'll let that dry up and see what it looks like when it dries down. Alright, as you can see, the road's dried down, and we got some really nice discoloration throughout the pewter gray, streaks of the black, but it kind of faded into darker grays, and it's really nice. The one thing that the camera's doing is it's making the dark spots that you see about 2 shades darker than what you can see with the light and not the camera. So the camera's making it just a little bit darker than what it is to the naked eye. But I am happy with this. I posted a picture to the YouTube community because I kind of thought once I drew these sample lines here, that's the reason I drew the sample lines, because I was trying to make up my mind if I wanted to do another wash or leave it go. So I posted to the community, and I got great responses and tips and ideas from people, and I'm sold on leaving it the way it is. It's about a mid-aged road, and that's what I was looking for. So that I like it, and I'm happy with it, so I can move on to the line striping, which will be next. And that's going to be part 3. So that's going to conclude this episode, because I want to get this poured in like we did in part 1, and then paint it and wash it so I can stripe this whole area, because this is going to be a bridge across here, so I can form the road up to the bridge, because I'm going to build the bridge to lift in and out there. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody who took the time to give their opinion on the colors on the community post. I really appreciate that. It really helped me make up my mind. And sometimes when I'm being indecisive, that's a very hard thing to do. So I appreciate every one of you. And so with that, I'm just going to leave you guys with a couple tips from this part 2. Working with the acrylics is really nice, because if you mess up, you can just go back over it. They're very cheap paints. I'm using 99-cent paints from Walmart. So I just did the base coat. For the washes, you got to mix the water with it, and you want to dilute it some, but you got to play with it and get exactly what you want. It may be easier for people that aren't colorblind like me, so I don't know what the process would be like for somebody else. Maybe a little bit easier to get those colors and dilute them. But when I was working the road here with the brush, I was basically just moving the color around and trying to spread it and make it look as ununiform as I could. And the nice thing with the water, like the water wash that you make, if you get, say I got too much of the paint into this one area and this is all wet, that's what I was doing with the brush, was working the heavy areas out and spreading that paint. So those are just 2 of the tips I wanted to mention about using acrylic paints to do the road. but it is possible. I'm happy with this result, and I'm looking forward to getting more road done. So I want to say thank you for watching. Take care, and we'll see you down the road this time. And as Sammy Hagar said, I can't drive 55.